Hey, welcome to another solo episode. I'm so grateful and excited to have these intimate conversations with you about the things that go on in the background of someone who is in death work. And as that evolves for me, and I continue to explore all the things in the world of death, dying, grief, and loss, I cannot believe how much there is that I want to share with you. Like, there's so much. Every single day, there's something new that comes, whether it's something someone said or something I watched or just kind of an acknowledgement of the world around us that I realize this is so important. We need to be talking about this more and more. And I'm so grateful that this has actually led to me finding more people to talk about these things with, because it's like one of the biggest things that happens in our life. And it kind of still surprises me how much we don't talk about it. So thank you for being here. Wow. Okay. The last couple of weeks, let's see what's been going on. I had my workshop around this idea of if this was the last year that you had to live, what would you do? We don't talk about imagining that we're going to die. We sort of frame it as, what if a year went by and all of a sudden everything was just done? What would be important to you? So we look at relationships, we look at lifestyle, we look at passions, we look at, identity and how we're showing up in the world. And it's so revealing. I love it so much. And it just shows how important it is to have these conversations in person or even just online with each other, but in community, because we get so much from each other, right? Like the things that people are saying, I'm like, oh yeah, I never thought about that. I love this. So I won't be doing that workshop again until probably the fall, because spring and summer are going to be really, really busy around here. But if you want to be a part of that in the fall, let me know. I don't have a date yet, but we can, try to coordinate it together. And if you want some one-on-one support, because maybe this is a really, relevant thing to you to think about right now, or you're just like, I don't want to wait till the fall to think about how to make a year of my life very intentional, reach out to me. If we don't know each other, I've got a few decades of coaching, and I've really been focusing a lot on how to help people feel connected to their life, the life that they have left before they die. So reach out. We can work on that. We can work on anything you want that's related to having the experiences that you want that are meaningful for you before you die. Or if there's someone in your life and they are actively dying, or you think that this would be helpful for them, connect with me. Let's just see what we can come up with together. I have been taking my death doula training with Krista Ovenel, and I am loving it so much. She is such a gem of a human being. I am so, so grateful. There are so many programs out there, and sometimes when that happens and then you pick one, you're kind of like, I don't know, was this the right one? This was the right one. And she's going to be on the podcast. I'm going to be doing an interview with her in a few weeks. So I'm not going to reveal too much, but let's just say if you are interested in becoming a death doula or offering end of life support, like reach out to me. I would love for you to take one of her future trainings, or just, get following her, see what she's talking about, and start to see yourself in this work and how that shows up. The people in this group are amazing. So yeah, I mean, I trust her to bring a good crew every time. And we will definitely be talking about that more in the future. Some of the ways I see myself in the world of death doula work, everything from bedside, end of life, companionship with those who are actively dying, support for the family, being that bridge between the actively dying person and the family, legacy work. So if there's things that want to be passed along, like helping people to write their story, obituary writing, helping people go through their stuff. Like there's so much stuff, right? We have so much stuff. And it can be really overwhelming to begin to decide, what am I going to do with this stuff? What do I want to have happen to my stuff? So if any of those things are speaking to you, or there's someone in your life and you're like, they could use help with this, reach out. Let's see what we can do. Or if there's something I can't do, I probably at this point can find someone to help you. So let me now say, if you need help in death, dying, grief, loss, anything in that spectrum, reach out, because I've met some incredible people all around the world. So you don't have to live anywhere near me. And I would love to connect you with somebody who can help you through that, because we should not do this alone. Incredible interviews coming up on topics related to the importance of writing a will, talking about how death can free us into this world and allow us to live in ways we never thought we could. Conversations around the marginalization of death. So, you know that this is a big one for me the last few years, really realizing that death is not an equal experience. So, we're going to be having conversations around that with some authors. What else are we talking about? Obituary writing, some things that have been learned from obituaries from around the world, just some really amazing people. And I cannot wait to share these interviews and conversations with you. If there are conversations that you think we should be having on here, let me know. We will be doing some roundtable conversations in the future around topics that maybe there's a number of people who can relate to. And one thing I've come to know is I don't always know the right questions to ask because I have not had all the experiences. So, for example, when it comes to, being a mother of a child who has died, I don't know what that's like. And I can ask the questions that might come to mind from someone on the outside, and I can do my best to try to understand the experience. But other mothers who have lost a child are going to know how to have conversations at a much deeper level. So we're going to bring them together and we're going to have conversations that allow those of you who can relate to that, who are feeling maybe alone in that experience, to have that opportunity to hear people talk about something that really is specific and purposeful for you, and to help those of us on the outside to give the care, to give the understanding in the space, and to stop saying the things, like we all kind of put our foot in our mouth when we talk about grief and loss, when we don't know what it's like for specific people, even when we do, because hey, we're not very good at this, which is, again, one of the reasons why we're doing this. I want us to be a more death literate society. I want us to know what things can we say and do that actually are helpful and bring us closer to each other in those moments, right? Because when we say those things, we're trying to make connection with somebody. We're not trying to push them away. We're not trying to make them feel bad. But we sometimes do it unintentionally. So a lot more conversations around that as well. Being in this space has really reminded me about how temporary and how limited our time is to get details of the people we love before they die or before we die. And so I've been spending a lot of time with my grandma. I've been asking her a lot about my grandpa who died, who, there were so many grandkids. I don't feel like I got a lot of one-on-one time with him. And by the time I had sort of, come to this realization that people don't live forever, and when you think about it, you act differently, he had died. And there's a lot of things that I wish I'd known about him. So we've been having a lot of conversations about him. I was in to see her this week, and we were going through CDs of music that he used to play. He was a guitar player, a really good one. And so I'm going to try and learn some songs that he played on the guitar that are outside of the type of music that I would normally listen to. And I'm thinking about how music, how activities like that, those of the people that we love who we've lost, how those bring us closer to them somehow, and how these relationships that we have with those who have died can continue on long after they die. It's a really remarkable thing. And I'm sharing this because if you've lost someone that you love and you want that relationship to continue, they're so important to you, or maybe you feel like you didn't get to know them as much as you wanted, and there's all these gaps in your understanding of who they were as a person, there are ways that we can continue that relationship beyond their death. So that's one of the ways that I'm trying to get to know my grandpa more, is through the music, through learning guitar and getting good at it, I hope. And, spending time with my grandma and talking about her wishes. And, I asked her this week some questions around her own death and what she'd like to have happen. And I was really surprised by the answers. And later that day, I bumped into a friend and they were sharing about their mother's death, and how at the end of their mother's death, there was choices that the mother made that they were surprised by. Decisions like not going into hospice or palliative care, sharing a hospital room with someone else. And these were things that they thought that they would want to change, that they would want to improve or make better for the comfort of the person that they love so much. But for that person, these were their choices. And so I think there's so much that we need to also recognize about the agency of each other in our dying moments and what we want for ourselves. And as the people that love these people, we want to give them everything, right? We want to give them the most comfort, the most attention, the most recognition, the most love and care and special moments. And that's wonderful. And that we should want that. But that's not always what they want in terms of what it logistically looks like. So that's why these conversations are so important long before the moment, because sometimes we don't get that chance to ask them. And sometimes these things happen and we don't know. And I really want people to save, some of the time, the energy, the finances that come from death. When we talk about it earlier, we can protect ourselves from some of those things and make it a lot easier when the time comes to just be with the grief, to just be with the loved one, to be with how the changes are happening and not being, stuck in these logistical or bureaucratic or financial situations. There's so much we can do before we die. So I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to keep having guests on about it. And please reach out if you're like, I don't know where to start. I can get you started. Okay. So that brings me to what I hope to offer every time we do these sessions is a takeaway, something to do. So in these workshops around, imagining you have 1 year left of life, one of the things that we focus on is relationships, right? And when we feel like we have unlimited time, relationships sort of, they go the way they go. They're for the most part very organic, right? But when we imagine that we just have a year, it changes, right? So what I want you to do this week, over the next couple of weeks until I pop back again, is set aside 10, 15 minutes. Set a timer. It does not need to be a lot of time. And think about these questions. If I had 1 more year, who would I want to spend time with? What would I want to do with these people? And what are some of the important conversations I need to have with the people in my life before it ends? Okay. You don't need to go into detail if you're not feeling that in the moment, but just give yourself that chance to ask these questions. It's going to change how you live your life. It's going to change who you have coffee with. It's going to change who you check in on. It's going to change, the depth of your conversations with the people you love. So please do the exercise. Tell me the answers that you have, how it's changing things in your life. Before I wrap things up, I just want to thank you so much for being a part of this project, because I see this as something that's evolving, something that's growing, something that we're developing together as a shared experience of people wanting to be better equipped to talk about death, dying, grief, and loss, and also to help us kind of pave the way for the rest of our lives while we're here, in preparation for our own death and also those that we love. If there is a topic that you think that there's a gap in that I haven't yet had a guest on or talked about, please let me know. Please also let me know if there's something from the past, maybe a guest said something or there was a topic and it's changed the way that you live your life or the way that you think about things. Share it with me. I want to know. I want to know what's sticking. I want to know what's helping you, what's supporting you, and what else I can do to make this experience more helpful. So thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.